I was here yesterday recording the video, and they were laying the shackles out on the icy tarmac. It was 15 degrees. Terrible. At Signature Aviation, a Signature Aviation truck will pull up and provide enough fuel to get them to their next stop, usually Omaha, before heading down to a big deportation hub, usually Alexandria, Louisiana. Everybody has enough for freedom, keep the call. And anytime in your neighborhood, a brave man may come through to take away your neighbor there before her children grew. Is this the way our parents taught to hate and put in jail? Or make a city safe for all and defend it without fear? This land was made for you and me. Land is your land, this land is my land. There was a big time trying to stop me. It has a sign that I ride with property, but on the backside it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We're borrowing that for the beautiful
everybody,
nice and boring today? That was a walk. Holy cow. No residents, turn me around,
Thank you all for coming today. My name is Jeff Paquette. I'm the internal organizing director of the mighty and scrappy Unite Here Local 17. The labor movement is proud to be here today with members of our communities to fight for immigrant workers' rights. Yay! Our union, Unite Here Local 17, and other unions at the airport, like SEIU Local 26, are predominantly membered by immigrant workers. Yes. They make this airport run. They do the work that makes these airplane companies billions of dollars in profits each and every year. Immigrant workers in our unions are in a constant struggle for justice and the material gains to move themselves and their families forward. That is right. Just last week, members of our union who do food service at the airport, that work at the Chili's, that work in the main terminal food court, that work in the Minnesota Wild Bar, we're ready to go on strike to make the material gains a reality that they deserve. Yeah! We're going to go on strike in the busiest travel day of the year because that's what gets the goods. When we make these corporations know that the workers can do the work and also shut it down, that's when we win. Shut it down! And we did win! HMS hosts caved into the workers' demands, and those workers walked away with the biggest pay increases that we have ever won in the airport. But as these airlines, again, make billions of dollars in profits each and every year, our immigrant members are struggling just for simple dignities like affordable health care. Uber and Lyft drivers for the simple dignities of having a place to pray, of having a place to go to the bathroom while they wait for a call on their apps. That is not right. And now we find out that this very airport is the site where people from the Whipple building, detainees, are taken and flown out of this terminal run by Signature Aviation to be deported to God knows where. These deportations and terror in our neighborhoods are ripping families apart and doing nothing but to sow fear and anxiety in our community. And we gotta demand better. Yes. We gotta demand better from our local government leaders. We gotta demand better from MAC, who runs the airport, who knows that these deportation flights are taking place. We gotta demand better from Trump, that fascist president. We gotta demand better and tear down the entire awful ICE machine that is wreaking terror in our neighborhoods and our cities.
Our state work. Immigrants make our country work. My name is Greg Nemacher. I am the president of SEIU Local 26 and the proud representative of many of almost 1,000 members here at the airport. The vast majority of our members are immigrants. They do everything from cleaning to the security. As folks come into this building, they go through security. They do the cleaning of the airplanes. We are here in coalition today with many other unions, IAM, Unite Here. Our membership at Local 26 has had 2 of our brothers and sisters deported through this very signature airline. It's unacceptable, and this cannot happen on our watch. So today we are going to march together to Signature Airlines to show them how we feel and where we are at. This is the beginning. We know that especially with this focus in the last couple of days, on our Somali brothers and sisters that these attacks will only increase. And so this is the beginning of a long struggle that we are going to be doing. It may be snowy outside, it may get even worse, but we are going to have to be here and continue to show up until we stop this deportation machine. Yes. Are you with me? All right.
Turn me around, I'm gonna let no back.
Under attack! What do we do? When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? When our neighbors are under attack, what do we do? When Somalis are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? And what do we do? Now to hear a little bit more about this, we have someone from 5051. Let's get to speak.
I'm Nick Benson. I work in commercial flight data analytics, and I'm speaking on behalf of Minnesota 5051, which, as you know, is a grassroots organization working to make our state and country a better place. We have a lot of work to do. I'm a very enthusiastic aviation geek. I make 2 or 3 trips up to the airport from my home in Burnsville, and that's not terribly unusual, at least to me. My wife rolls her eyes at me from time to time. This spring, I noticed the regular Wednesday morning deportation flight wasn't showing up on the schedule. They'd been happening here for years, but truthfully, I didn't pay much attention to them. Beyond a chance to catch an oddball charter airline, they were just part of the regular rhythm, heartbeat of the airport here. But like I said, it was unusual. They weren't on the day's schedule, and since looking at flight schedules is my job, I started digging, and I discovered 2 things. First, many of the deportation flights had begun operating with a special call sign. And second, most of the deportation fleet had been added to the FAA's privacy list, which hides them from trackers like FlightAware and FlightRadar 24. Since the federal government decided they didn't want me to see these flights, naturally I felt a compulsion to take a closer look. After noticing an inbound flight on a crowdsourced flight tracker, I'd go to one of my favorite spots, the top of the parking deck over there, and I'd watch an airplane operated by a charter airline like Global Crossing or Eastern Air Express, which are usually here to carry college athletic teams around, or Denver Air Connection, which does public flights out of MSP, would pull into the ramp here at Signature Aviation right behind us. We're tucked behind Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. ICE agents would disembark from the airplane and unload bags of shackles from the cargo hold. Even from a distance, this was gut-wrenching. Seeing the chains that would soon be confining my neighbors, binding their hands together at their waist and then down between their ankles. I was here yesterday recording a video, and they were laying the shackles out on the icy tarmac. It was 15 degrees. Terrible. At Signature Aviation, a Signature Aviation truck will pull up and provide enough fuel to get them to their next stop, usually Omaha, before heading down to a big deportation hub, usually Alexandria, Louisiana. A convoy of DHS vans will arrive, usually a full few of men, sometimes a minivan or SUV with women. They're unloaded, chained up, and inspected before being directed to hobble up the steps onto the aircraft, typically on an air truck provided by Signature Aviation, which strangely has had all of its branding stripped off of it. A coincidence, I'm sure. The flight then departs, and hopefully they don't experience any mechanical issues, because if they lose cabin pressure, the air oxygen max will drop down in front of the people, the passengers, but since their hands are chained at their waist, they won't be able to put them on. If they need to evacuate on the ground, good luck to them. Reporting from ProPublica, reporters of flight attendants have been told to abandon their passengers, leaving them on the plane to fend for themselves while they're chained at their feet. ICE's practices, abandoning the long-standing enforcement norms, are so out of hand that the Supreme Court, backed by the President, had to intervene, reminding DHS that due process is a right to everyone on U.S. soil, not just citizens, and reminding them further that the Constitution, much of it, is here to protect us, the people, from them, the government. Companies like Global Crossing, Eastern Air Express, Denver Air Connection, and Signature Air Aviation are shamefully profiting from the number, as the number of flights balloon here, they're shamefully profiting off of this industry, shipping our neighbors down to mega hubs like Alexandria, Louisiana. And the government is going out of its way to reduce transparency. This isn't someone else's problem. This isn't happening somewhere else. It's time for all of us here, regular people and bureaucrats alike, to start looking for peaceful, safe, legal, and creative ways to slow this down until it stops. Thank you.
I have had the unique experience of actually going to such detention centers in Louisiana. And I want to tell you what I learned there. This summer, around 500 SEIU members from around the country bused into New Orleans, Louisiana. When we then got on more buses and traveled hours from New Orleans to a remote location to hold demonstrations outside of ICE detention centers. These detention centers are in tiny rural areas far from big cities. Intentionally inaccessible. 3 other local 26 members and I went to Basil Detention Center, a women's prison almost 3 hours away from New Orleans. This is a detention center, like many ICE centers, is owned by a private company called GEO Group. We learned that they get paid $157 of our tax dollars a day by ICE per detainee. Meanwhile, we heard the women in these prisons are forced to work for $1 per day. In terms of the conditions, we heard reports of medical negligence, cockroaches, lack of clean drinking water, expired food. And it's happening right here at our airport. Meanwhile, like GEO Group, the companies operating these flights are making money off this crew. We can see your passion side. Hey, Senator, you can hide. We can see your passion side. Hey, Senator, you can hide. We can see your passion side. Hey, Senator, you can hide. We can see your passion side. Hey, Senator, you can hide.
My name is Jane Reeves. I'm pastor of First Congregational Church in Minneapolis, which is the United Church of Christ congregation. In my tradition, this is the time of Advent, the time to prepare for the coming of the Holy Child who shows us the face of God. This child grows up to be a man.
Yeah, still good.
First time on this freezing day. In the Mishnah, one of the earliest layers of Jewish text, the rabbis ask a question. If you are in danger, what are you supposed to do with regards to prayer? If you're in the middle of praying and there is a danger, what do you do? The Talmud says that if a snake winds its way around your leg, you are supposed to keep praying. You do not stop. Lo yaftik. If a king stops you in the middle of your prayer, what are you supposed to do? You should not stop praying. Friends, we are here today because when shackles wind around immigrants' legs like snakes on these flights leaving this airport, our friends, our neighbors, our family, they have chosen to not stop praying. Let's say that together. Not stop praying.